Good afternoon to all of my favorite students. Thank you for tuning in. Today's Friday, so I thought I'd keep this lesson short and sweet. I'm just gonna keep continuing to show you guys how to solve some equations, and today's equations include fractions, okay? My plan is for next week to get into some more Algebra 2 leveled based problems. This week, since this is all new to me and new to you, I thought I'd just, keep it simple with these basic solving equation problems. And as always, I've got my contact information at the top of the page here. So let's go ahead and get started. As you can see, to solve these equations, I've got some fractions involved. So 1/2 x plus 2 equals -3. Remember, I'm trying to isolate the variable, which means I need to undo whatever is being done to that variable, the letter x. So since I'm adding 2 onto that, I want to start out by subtracting 2 on both sides. -2, -2. You want to make sure you line it up underneath of the other numbers. 2 minus 2 is 0. Carry down the 1/2 x, and that's going to equal -3 plus -2. Because these are both negative, we add those together, and then you want to keep the sign. It's -5. Now, what do we do about the fraction? In this case, we would just want to start out by multiplying both sides by the denominator. The denominator is the number on the bottom of the fraction, which is 2. So multiply both sides by 2, and what that does is that eliminates our fraction. The 2's cancel. Then I'm just left with the 1x, okay? I really don't need to write down the 1, so I'm just going to put x equals, and then think -5 times 2 would be -10. That's it. -10 is your answer. For the next problem, I have 2/3 x minus 7 equals 1. It's the same exact type of problem, set up the same way, except the first step, instead of adding on both sides, instead of subtracting on both sides, we need to add, because we always do the opposite. Because it says -7, the opposite would be to add 7. Add 7 to both sides. And the reason we do that is so -7 plus 7 is 0. Carry down the 2/3 x, and that's going to equal 1 plus 7, which is 8. Now, just like the last problem, the next thing we need to do is multiply both sides by the denominator. The denominator is the number on the bottom of the fraction, 3. So multiply both sides by 3. And what this does, this thing keeps moving around on me today. What this does is this is going to eliminate the fraction. The 3 times 2/3, that cancels out the 3 on the bottom. So then that makes this 2x. I do need to write down this 2. 2x equals 8 times 3, which is 24. Then the last step would be to divide both sides by 2. Because this is 2 times x. The opposite of multiplying is dividing. Divide both sides by 2 so that those 2's cancel. So that makes this x equals 12. 24 divided by 2 is 12. Looks good. Okay, this is the last problem I have on here today. This is another type of equation in which there's a fraction involved, but the whole thing is a fraction. It's x plus 3 all over 4 equals 5. So for this problem, the very first step would be to just get rid of that fraction, okay? And the way you're going to do that is you're going to multiply both sides by the denominator. The denominator is the bottom of the fraction, so multiply both sides by 4. Okay, so when you multiply by 4, that cancels out the fraction. So that just makes it x plus 3 equals 20. And then the last thing you would have to do is subtract 3 on both sides. This one actually I think is pretty easy compared to the first two. So 3 minus 3 cancels, which makes this x equals 17. X equals 17. Okay, so that's the examples I had prepared for today. In today's homework, I thought I'd keep it pretty simple. The homework is to tell your friends from your class to sign up for the Remind. The class code is at Mrs. Fry A. And check your live grades. I'm giving you a grade for signing up for the Remind, and I'm doing a weekly Alex grade. I just entered grades today, so you guys need to check that and make sure that you're doing what you need to do. Hope you guys have a good weekend, and I'll be back on Monday with another video. Bye.